Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Do you ever get that feeling, that no matter who you vote for, not much really seems to change? That the whole system is kind of captured or rigged or just broken? Well, today we're going to dig into the forces that create that exact feeling. We're going to use a really fiery political debate to see if we can find some kind of structure in all the chaos. So, yeah, this is pretty much where we are right now. It's raw, it's emotional, and it's a total gridlock. This little snippet comes from a debate between liberals and MAGA supporters, and wow, it just perfectly captures that feeling of two sides not just talking past each other, but being absolutely convinced the other side is just lying. You know, it's so easy to just get lost in all the shouting. But what if this isn't just random noise? What if there are actual systems at play, economic systems, media systems, that are basically designed to pit us against each other, to make us feel powerless while the real game is being played somewhere else entirely? To get our heads around this, we're going to break it down. We'll start with that idea of a captured system, then look at how economic power gets concentrated. After that, we'll dive into the media's outrage machine and how it just pours gasoline on the fire. We'll explore how identity can get prioritized over class, what really drives us to vote, and, this is the important part, how we might start to fix things. All right, let's get into it. Okay, first up, that feeling. That feeling deep in your gut that the game is rigged. And here's the thing, it's not just you. It's a frustration that millions and millions of people feel, whether they're on the left or the right. It's the sense that no matter how hard you work, you just keep getting squeezed, and the folks in charge, they either don't know or they just don't care.
Now, just listen to this. This is from a MAGA supporter in that debate, and he is talking about an economic anxiety that so many Americans feel no matter who they vote for. This feeling that the country just isn't working for regular people anymore, it is a powerful, unifying thing, even if we don't always see it that way.
So, if so many people are feeling the same economic pain, why on earth are we so divided? Well, it really comes down to the diagnosis. It's like we all agree on the symptom, that ordinary people are losing, but we're pointing our fingers at completely different culprits for the disease. And this, right here, lays it out so clearly. On one side, the story is that these globalist elites sold out the American worker. On the other side, the story is that giant corporations rigged the system. You see, it's two totally different villains for the exact same feeling of being left behind. So here's the key takeaway. Underneath all the political slogans, underneath all the different villains, the core problem, the core grievance, is the same. It's this widespread belief that the promise of America, that your kids will have it better than you, is broken, and that the system just isn't built for the average person to get ahead anymore. Okay, so you've got this shared economic pain, but these two totally different stories about who's to blame. That division doesn't just happen, it gets amplified. And that brings us to the outrage machine. The modern media landscape, both social and traditional, often makes more money the angrier we are, fanning these flames and making it almost impossible to find common ground. And you see this everywhere, right? One side is absolutely convinced the mainstream media is just propaganda for the establishment. The other side is just as convinced that right-wing misinformation is literally a threat to democracy. And what's the result? You get two separate realities, two separate information bubbles, and zero trust between them. In this whole debate over new Pentagon press rules is such a perfect little case study. Is it just a common sense security measure? Or is it, like this speaker is arguing, a way for the government to control the story and decide which truths we're allowed to hear? This is the battle for information, and it's happening right in front of us. Now, this collapse in trust, it's not just about the media. It is everywhere. Just look at this. Decades ago, trust in our major institutions, Congress, the courts, you name it, was pretty high. And now, that trust has absolutely cratered. It's fallen off a cliff. I mean, you don't have to look any further than the endless, circular arguments about the 2020 election. When people in a country can't even agree on who legitimately won an election, that's not just a political disagreement anymore. That's a sign that the very foundation of the whole system is cracking. So, if you're in power, how do you keep all these people who are sharing the same economic struggles from teaming up? Well, you distract them. You make the fight about identity and culture instead of about class and economic power. It is one of the oldest and most effective plays in the political playbook. And this is that classic divide and conquer strategy in action. It's so much easier for the people at the top if working class folks are fighting each other over cultural issues, right? It keeps them from uniting and asking the really tough questions, like why all the wealth and power is so concentrated in the first place. These cultural fights are real, for sure, but they're also really convenient for some people. And this brings us to a really crucial question, one that can be kind of confusing. If so many people are feeling squeezed financially, why do they sometimes vote in ways that don't seem to help their own bottom line? Well, the answer is that when we go to vote, we're not just walking calculators. The simple truth is, people are not spreadsheets. We don't just vote based on some neat economic calculation. We vote with our guts, with our hearts. We're driven by this messy, complicated mix of who we are, our morals, our tribe, and our fears. For a lot of voters, their cultural identity or their deep distrust of elites is way more important than any specific tax policy. So this is where all of this is heading. And this is the really scary part. The ultimate danger isn't that your party loses an election. The danger is that the whole system decays into what's called permanent oligarchic capture. And that's just a fancy way of saying the system gets permanently controlled by a tiny group of wealthy interests. Our institutions crumble, and we can't even agree on what's real anymore. That's how democracies die. Okay, when you lay it all out like that, it's easy to feel pretty hopeless, right? We've got concentrated power, an outrage machine designed to keep us mad, and these deep, deep divisions. So what in the world can any of us actually do to fix a system that feels this broken? Well, the answer might not be what you expect. It's not glamorous. It's not about one charismatic leader who's going to save us all. The way forward, according to the analysis, is actually slow, often kind of boring work that starts right where you live. It's about rebuilding power from the ground up. So what does that actually look like? Well, it's stuff like rebuilding local power, getting involved in your school board or community groups. It means using the tools we already have, like antitrust laws, which are basically just rules to stop one company from getting too big and powerful. It means fighting like hell for real campaign finance reform to get big money out of politics. And hey, on a personal level, sometimes it just means logging off and escaping the algorithms that are designed to keep you angry. And at the end of the day, this is the key. The antidote to all the online outrage and the national division is real-world human connection. When we know our neighbors as people, not just as political avatars on a screen, it becomes a lot harder to hate them. Strong local communities really are the foundation of a healthy democracy. So we end on this thought. Our country right now often feels like one giant, toxic, out-of-control comment section. The challenge for all of us is to figure out how to take our very real, very legitimate frustration with a captured system and turn it into real, constructive action, instead of just giving more clicks and more fuel to the outrage machine that profits from keeping us divided. So what's one step you can take?